This is episode 1 of me telling my business because I think it'll help somebody. So 6 months ago, I went no contact with my mother, and it has helped me deepen my level of inner work and shed even more conditioning, and honestly put me in an environment to really fully heal those last parts of myself that I felt there were still remnants that were left over. And honestly, this isn't the first time that I've gone in no contact with her or even my father. I've gone a year, 2 years, however long, without talking to them. But this is the last time. And I had to do some grieving recently, and I've had to come to terms with the fact that my mother won't be in my life. She won't be at my wedding. She won't know my children because she's unhealthy. And being in relationship with someone who's not healthy makes you hold on to patterns, ways of being. You get into the same cycles with that person. It just makes you hold on to, let's say you're trying to calm your nervous system. It makes you hold on to an activated nervous system. It makes you hold on to fight, flight, freeze, fawn. It makes you hold on to those ways of being that protected you as a child or protected you when you were in whatever toxic relationship you were in. You're not able to actually heal when you are in an environment that is unhealthy and unstable and not conducive to growth. But I do want to add that environment is a really important part of it, and I talk about that I'm going to talk about that in Conscious Creator, in my super conscious safety stack. Environment is one of the tenets that are important and foundational, because you can't really grow, evolve, ascend, become who you're supposed to be, create a new identity for yourself if you're still in the same environment that created this previous identity, right? So environment is a really important part of it, but if you don't change your internal energetic state and do the deeper work, it doesn't matter how many different environments you go into or how many times you change your environment, you will keep encountering the same situations. You'll keep encountering the same cycles. You'll keep encountering the same kinds of people, even if you've gotten away from the people who made you who you are, made you have certain coping mechanisms or whatever it is. If you don't have an internal shift, then your environment will keep reflecting back to you who you previously were. And I have so many examples of this. So when I was in the military, as you guys know, I was in the Army for 5 years. I left home as soon as possible at 17, and I ended up being stationed overseas at 18. And I can tell you, while I was there, I was using the same coping mechanisms that I saw my mother use, drinking a lot. I was really depressed. I was crying a lot. And thank God for my angel of a boyfriend at the time, because I would just be crying and I'd be so sad. And my sister had a baby, and I was just like, oh my God, I miss my family. Well, at the same time, I was so sad because I'm like, I know there's nothing back home for me. Like, I know there's nothing there for me back home in California. So I just had to keep pushing forward, but I was so sad. And he would call my sister and be like, she misses you, she's crying. And I would be drunk, like, I miss you so much. And honestly, I had this level of survivor's guilt, because I felt like I was leaving my sister with our toxic mother and our unhealthy father at the time. He's good now, but back then he was not a safe space. He was not healthy, and we just didn't have a good relationship with him. So I felt like I was leaving her, and it was just so hard for me. Oh, I'm getting emotional. It was just so hard for me dealing with that. But also it's crazy because it was like I was thousands of miles away, and I was still energetically tethered to the same people who hurt me. It was like I knew I had to leave, but I wanted so bad to go back. I wanted so bad to return to the place that I knew wasn't healthy. And even when I would go back and visit, the same things would happen. Like my family, I don't know. It was like the adults in my family were all just emotionally stunted children. I don't know how to describe it, but they would curse each other out. They'd get into arguments. They'd have these huge blow ups, and that would happen when I would get there. And so I would go back home and I'm like, I miss you guys. But then I'm like, it's the same stuff. It's the same thing. A lot has changed since then. It's been 10 years, but I would go home and I'm like, yeah, nothing has changed. I've changed. I've seen so much more of the world. I'm traveling to all these different countries in Europe, and I'm just like, I'm finally getting good with my money. Like, I have income, I'm investing. Like, I was just doing so well. And I would go home and everyone was the same. And it was just so crazy. And so I felt like guilty. I felt guilty because I'm like, I'm exploring, I'm experiencing life. Like, I got out, but the people I love are still here. And not only are they here, but a lot of these people are the same people who hurt me, who created these toxic cycles and dynamics. And it was just like, it was just hard. It was hard. So now moving into this new chapter in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm finally in a safe space. I'm finally safe in my nervous system, and I've done the inner child work. I've like created my own inner parent as well. And it's helped me because when I would get into relationship with her again, I'm like, this is not how I deserve to be treated. Like, I've already parented myself. I remember, you know how in Inside Out, I made a video about this on my YouTube, but in Inside Out, there would be a memory and then it would have a certain color. I have vivid memories of me just like crying by myself in a room, like crying myself to sleep. And all these things form your self-concept, your identity, your core wounds that I talk about. I remember feeling like I am abandoned, I am unloved, I am unworthy. I had all of these core wounds because of these like vivid memories that I remember, like, you know, my father abandoning me when I was a child. He came back, of course. He just went to jail for a little minute, but he came back. But I remember that at like 3, and I was telling my father about like the subconscious mind work that I was doing, because we were talking about another family member, and he was like, she's okay, like there's nothing wrong with her, da 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 da, like she's not a victim, she needs to get over it. And I'm like, it's not even about that. It's about, it doesn't matter how old you get. This is why a lot of these older adults are still like stunted, like, you know, children walking around. It doesn't matter how old you get, your body still remembers, and your subconscious mind still remembers the pain. It remembers when your father left. It remembers when your mother chose someone else over you. It remembers these things, and that forms your core wounds, your conditioning, your identity, and who you believe yourself to be. And that affects like your frequency, your vibration, which you continuously attract into your reality. So I remember telling him how when I did the subconscious mind work, that I went back to the time where I first had that core wound of I am abandoned. And I remember being like 3 and my father was gone. And I remember my older sister, like she would be getting letters from him being in jail. And I just remember that he was gone. And then I remember my stepmom, who has been in my life since I was 2. I remember her like sending clothes. So it's like I felt that they weren't there. And so I was explaining this to him, and he's like, oh my gosh, like, you know what, you're right. Like, and I'm like, yeah, this is the deep level work that I've been doing. And I'm like, I can see where these things originated and where they started. And all of these things form your self-concept, and it forms your identity, and it carries into the things that you say, the people who you attract, the opportunities that you allow yourself to go for, the things that you feel worthy of, whether it's a healthy body or having however amount of love and adoration in your life. It affects how much money you allow yourself to have, and how much you allow yourself to be seen and heard, and how much of your light that you allow to shine through and get shown to the world. And these things really do affect you, and doing the deeper work really does transform you, because it's not just in a vacuum. It's not just the mind, it's not just the body, it's like all interconnected. And this is what I'm going to work on in Mindset Mastery, adding in this new lesson, because it gets so much deeper. Even the false identities that I'm going to talk about, like I had this false identity of savior. I felt like I had to save people and save them from themselves and save them from other people, and releasing that has allowed me to really pour back into myself. Like, I think that was the biggest shift. Instead of like trying to give love to people who just weren't able to receive and accept it because of whatever blocks that they had, I poured all of that back into myself, and it's made such a big difference. And another one that I've seen a lot is the false identity of striver. You're always healing, you're always trying, you're always becoming, but you never allow yourself to be healed, to become the person that you're supposed to be, and that your higher self is summoning you to become. So this work goes so deep, and the more that I uncover, the more layers that I shed, the more whole I become. It's like literally a coming home to myself, and a becoming the person who I know that I've always been. And it just feels so good. It feels so good. It feels so freeing. And it's not just because I'm cutting a certain person off. I've cut people off before, and I attracted more of the same. It's really about the energetic shifts that I made, and that has truly made the biggest difference.